What's up, peoples? I wanted to say a quick word on self-work and what that means to me. It can be called meditation, it can be called introspection, it can be called compassion, it can be called intuition, it can be called presence. There are lots of words for kind of what's the process that's happening during self-work, but the most important part, as far as I can tell, is that it's an ongoing process. It's not a thing with an achievement at the end of it. It's not a working towards something and then you achieve and then you're done and you move on. It never stops, especially when we're here in this realm. And it's going against self-work goes against what society wants, because society wants you to be projecting all the time and be wanting all kinds of things that are harmful for you. So if somebody is doing self-work and they have found some sort of peace or contentment or stillness within themselves that doesn't require adding all kinds of trinkets on top to sort of satiate the ego self, you're not a use to society at that point. You're a detriment to society. It's just what it is. So not only is self-work difficult in the respect that it's a constant sort of attentiveness that is needed, because our minds are always wanting to slip back into ego self-controlled, manipulated reality from that level, from the level of the ego self. That's what we've been programmed to do from birth here, and that's a death trap. As far as I can see, that's a complete death trap. And self-work is the only thing connecting to spirit, connecting to source, connecting to that power which sustains all life. That's what self-work is. And it's not work in that sense, because the work is all being done. It's that power is what it is. It sustains everything, and you are that, or you're a piece of that. It's the separation that requires work. It requires a lot of work to separate yourself out as a scared little ego self. And self-work is not about achieving anything. It's about clearing out all of this stuff. Like Osho says, your mirror gets dusty. You are a reflector of purity. You're a pure reflection. And the mirrors have a great capacity to get dusty, especially here. And dusty mirrors are promoted here. You're supposed to have like the dustiest possible mirror here. You want to have all kinds of junk on there, and preferably feel anxiety, don't like yourself, Debbie down yourself all the time, and hopefully just simply be in pain and suffering. That's what this realm wants, and that's not fun. Nobody likes that. And I don't like that. And I strive to stay present and out of projections as much as possible, because projections are the irreal. They're the unreal. They are the real, the R-E-E-L, not the R-E-A-L. And you don't even know what the projection system is until you really, 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 really look into it. You don't know that it's there until you really, really, really look into it. And then you find out, oh, it's most definitely there. And then you find out, well, yes, it has a purpose, but it appears to have taken over the living beings, and they're primarily living in it rather than in their present moment, which really contains all of the life and everything. Everything is in the moment, all of it. And there isn't lack, but lack is introduced through the projection system. Apparent lack. Like Shunyamurti says, he says, all actions, all attempts at doing something, at wiggling out or wiggling away or achieving or in light of what he calls the true self or the overself or the Godhead, doesn't matter. It never matters what you call this stuff. The names are all interchangeable. But we know it, we feel this energy that sustains us. There's not any complication about the fact that that energy exists. But we constantly forget. And because we constantly forget, out of that forgetting arises the necessity of self-work, which is constant meditation. They want me to be doing regular work right now. Driving people around. Uber's gonna kick me off the... Not kick me off, but they're gonna say, you are logged out. Pretty soon. But it's constant, it has to be constant. Like I was saying about Shunyamurti, is he says he compared it to the Chinese finger trap, and I've done the same thing. It's a trap that all movement puts you further down. It puts you further away from that which sustains you, and it puts you further into ego mind, small self, clutching identity mode, fear mode. All movements do that. All attempts at doing things, achieving things, planning this and that. Not that you can't do any planning, because this realm does require that, but when you practice the work constantly, then the doing is in automaticity. The planning is in automaticity, and it's fine, and it happens of its own accord, and it's good. It does what it's supposed to do, and you don't have to get involved with it. You're the witness. You can get involved with it. You're free to do that. You're free to play as well. But being that this situation has gotten itself slightly out of sorts and out of hand, and externally things are becoming unsustainable, they've always been going toward that since we've been here. Being that that is the case, then maybe we would be better suited doing self-work and reconnecting with, again, Shunyamurti says, it's a dream, but we're dreaming ourselves into like a madhouse. You just dream a better dream, and the way of dreaming a better dream is by meditating and getting further into the present moment, which is where the life is. Outside of the present moment, literally, is death. That's where it resides. It resides in the projection system. And that's where fear is and all this other stuff. And even once you realize that, it's not like, oh, now I've figured it all out so I can stop. No, like once you know that, then you further even need to do more self-work, because it doesn't sustain itself like that. It can, but also the sort of slippage of memory, and then the natural ways for the energy to slip back into the ego self and do that. And it's very subtle. And this is why you always have to do continuous self-work, and that's just what it is. Anyway, hope everybody's doing well. Take care. Peace. Bye.